struggle with anger and pride, and my name is Jose.
Hi, Jose.
Before we start, let's look at the heart of tonight's lesson. Every principle in Celebrate Recovery built on the one before it. But Principle 8, is where everything starts to overflow. It is where God has done in us begins to reach through us. If you could please read Principle 8. And Matthew 5:10 reminds us, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for there is the kingdom of heaven. That verse tells us real happiness isn't about comfort. It's about obedience. Principle 8 calls us to live out what we believe, even when it's not easy. Principle 8 connects perfectly with step 12. This is where our recovery stops being private and it starts serving others. It's the give back step. If you could please read step 12. In Galatians 6:1 says, brothers, if someone is caught in sin, you who are spiritual should restore him gently, but watch yourself, or you also may be tempted. That verse teaches us humility. We don't fix people. We walk with them. We restore gently. We give the same grace we've received. James 2:12 reminds us in the same way. If you could please read from the screen. And Peter 1:3-15 adds, but in your hearts reverse Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to anyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. That's the heart of Principle 8. Faith in action, hope in motion. We yield ourselves to God so He can use both our example and our words to point people to Him. When I first came to Celebrate Recovery, I didn't have a story about addiction. My struggle was control, pride, perfectionism, trying to prove that I had it all together. I was great at fixing people's messes, but terrible at admitting my own. God showed me that recovery isn't just about addiction. It's for anyone carrying weight that only grace can lift. For me, that meant learning to let go of anger, to soften my pride, to yield, to let God use even my weaknesses. That's what we're learning tonight, how faith becomes action. So tonight, we're talking about how to give. Each letter is like the heartbeat of recovery. When one stops, the rhythm fades. When all work together, life flows again. G, God first. I becomes we. V, victory shared. E, example of your actions. So let's start with the first beat. God first. Romans 8:32 says, When I kept God on my schedule, He always got the leftovers. When I finally put Him first, everything changed. My priorities shifted, my relationships healed, and the weight I carried grew lighter. Putting God first means recognizing everything we have, our time, our talents, our stories, is a gift. We are never more like God than when we give. The Greek word for that, give, means to offer freely without expecting anything back. Giving isn't losing. It's reflecting on the heart of God. What's one thing God gave you that changed your life? Anyone in the audience? Salvation. Freedom. Awesome. When we put God first, giving stops feeling like loss. It starts feeling like worship. When we put God first, He changes how we see people. That brings us to the next heartbeat of recovery. I becomes we. Recovery doesn't work in isolation. The first word in step one is we, not I. That's not grammar, that is truth. Matthew 22:37. If you could, please read it. Love God first, then love people well. That's the shift from I to we. We don't just attend recovery, we belong to each other. I used to think strength meant standing alone. Real strength came from when I said, I can't do this by myself. Then God surrendered me with people who walked beside me, not fix me, to remind me of grace. If you would please read Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Wow, that was awesome. Can we do it again? I'm just kidding. Who has God used in your life to help you stand back up? Anyone? Okay. When I becomes we, accountability replaces isolation. Strength multiplies. When we walk together, something powerful happens. We start sharing victories, not just struggles. And that's the next heartbeat, victories shared. If you could please read this next one. That's what a testimony looks like. This is how it was for me. Here's what happened. Here's how God gave me strength. It is your story becoming someone else's hope. God never wastes a hurt, not one. Every time He's brought me through anger, frustration, or burden, He's given me more compassion for others. Early in my faith, I tried to hide my mess, but it's the cracks that let His light shine through. If you could please read 2 Corinthians on screen, please. That's the heart of Principle 8. God comforts us so we can comfort others. He heals us so we can help heal others. What are some of the recent victories you could share with a newcomer? Anyone? There you go. Amen. Your story might be evidence to someone else's needs. Romans 8:20 says, "And we know that all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Even your pain can become someone else's hope. I remember the first time I prayed with someone struggling with the same anger I used to hide. That moment showed me something. God wasn't just healing me for me. He was healing me through me. Giving back didn't complete my recovery. It deepened it. When you start sharing your victories, your words become actions. And that leads to the last heartbeat. Are examples of your actions. E. 1 John 3:18 says, "Dear children, let us not love the words or speech, but with actions and its truth." Faith in action is like a car without gas. It looks fine, but it doesn't move. People may doubt what you say, but they will believe what you live. For me, recovery meant pausing before reacting, choosing humility over pride, listening before fixing. Those quiet moments preach louder than my words ever could. If someone followed you this week, what would your actions say about your faith? Anyone? If someone followed you this week, what would your actions say about your faith? Say it again. God is in control. You can give without loving, but you can't love without giving. Giving is the heartbeat of recovery. So let's bring all four letters together. God first, I becomes we, victories shared, examples of your actions. Each one keeps the heart recovering alive. Luke 8:16 says, "No one lights up a lamp and hides it under a clay jar or puts it under the bed. Instead, they put it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light." We're not meant to hide our light, our story. God doesn't waste pain, and He doesn't want you to hoard your healing. So here's a challenge. Find a way to give back this week, encourage a newcomer, pray with someone, volunteer, show grace in tough moments, because when we give, God multiplies. When we stop, the heartbeat slows. Let's keep strong. Let's keep giving. Let's keep alive. The more we give away, the more whole we become. Thank you for letting me share.